for all the pain that everybody's going through. I'm sorry to Corey. I'm sorry to Corey's friends and family, and I'm really sorry to Corey's fans. I know this might not be good enough for some of you, but there's just so much that I want to say, but unfortunately I'm just limited to what I can say at this time. This will be the first time that I'm talking about the accident out of respect to the LeBerry family. But making this video has been very difficult for me, as it's almost impossible to try to find the right words for something like this. And at the moment, I'm still processing all these emotions that I'm going through, and just being forced to confront the fact that this accident resulted in the death of one of my best friends. He's not only a friend of me, but he's a loving son, a brother, a person that had incredible personality, drawing people to him with his kind heart and his humor. It's hard to cope with the fact that his absence will leave a void in hundreds of thousands of people's hearts, especially to the people who had the privilege to know him personally. And I will always cherish every single moment that I had with him. When I moved to LA, he's one of the first people I met, and because we're so similar, we instantly bonded. It felt like we've been friends our entire lives. Corey would go out of his way to invite me places, and he was always great at making people feel welcome. I'll never forget how much that meant to me, and I'll think about him every single day for the rest of my life. After the accident, all I could do was keep thinking about how the family was doing and the pain that they just must be going through. When I was in the hospital, I was able to see the news unfold, and I watched as the media kept spreading this misinformation. A few months after the crash, the LeBerry family sent a letter to the judge asking for the second-degree murder charge to be brought down to manslaughter based on the facts that were not known at the time of the accident. And I just want to say thank you so much to the LeBerry family for recognizing that this was a tragic accident. I want to share this letter that the LeBerry family's lawyer sent to the judge, and this letter is public document. The first paragraph starts off by thanking John and Yasmin, which are the DA that were working on the case. John, thank you for taking the many calls on this case from right after the accident and listening to my thoughts and requests on the behalf of the LeBerry family up to and including today. Your quick response to this matter and your close examination of the facts and circumstances have brought peace to a very difficult time for the victim's family that I represent. And thank you to both for the time on the phone today. As you may know, I was retained by the LeBerry family as their Marcy's Law representative. California law has advanced significantly over the past several years as to the victim's Bill of Rights. The California Supreme Court has instructed that the prosecutors and judges should take into account the victim's thoughts and opinions when determining a just and fair resolution to a criminal matter. In this email, I speak on behalf of the surviving family of Corey. I am not involved in any civil case, and I'm only here in capacity allowed by Marcy's Law. When the incident first occurred, I was asked to review the facts known at the time. And based upon what was believed to have occurred on May 10, 2020, I asked the LAPD and the District Attorney to office to look at this as a Watson murder. I came to this conclusion based upon my years of prosecuting homicides. Of course, these were just my observations at the time, and the Los Angeles County District Attorney Office did its own evaluation and decided to file the most serious charges possible, second-degree murder. I am not here as an advocate for the prosecution nor the defense. My sole role is to speak on behalf of the Corey's loving family. I want to summarize our discussion this afternoon and add additional information that the office and LAPD may not have known about this case at the time of the initial filing. Since the day of the accident, I have spent many hours with the LeBerry family, and they are a smart, kind, and an empathetic group that has to deal with an early death of their son and brother, Corey LeBerry. LAPD has been very forthright with me about the facts of the case, as well as the DA's office. Our own investigation has been thorough, and the family has come to a decision that was formalized in this email. The LeBerry family decided to ask the district attorney to dismiss the second-degree murder charge against Mr. Silva and seek a manslaughter charge instead. What degree of manslaughter is up for you to determine? The decision is based upon many factors. These factors include but are not limited to the following. Since the case was filed, we've learned that the blood alcohol level was much lower than we first thought. In fact, the BAC very likely was below the legal limit at the time of driving. The speed that the vehicle was traveling may have only been slightly faster than allowed by law. The witness's statement indicates that the actions of Mr. Silva was not that egregious at the time of impact. The roadway was not straight, and in fact the street jogs out near the location of the accident. There was gravel placed by homeowners near the side of the road which impacted the manner that Mr. Silva drove and may have caused the vehicle to lose traction. Our investigations from residents in that area indicates that there have been multiple car accidents where drivers crashed into the same tree. The drivers in these other accidents were not under the influence, and these accidents have occurred at night as well during the daylight hours. The car that Mr. Silva drove was just purchased, and the horsepower and torque were unknown to Mr. Silva as he purchased the car within days of the accident. The facts above have had a profound impact on the hearts and minds of the LeBerry family. Most important, making their decision to request a dismissal of the second-degree murder charges in the fact that the family thought long and hard about what Corey would have wanted in this case. Mr. Silva was a very close friend of Corey. They relied upon each other during their difficult times in Los Angeles. Both have recently seen recent successes in their individual professions. Mr. Silva has been a nationally recognized tattoo artist, and Corey has risen in social media circles and has an enormous following. The LeBerry family was aware that Mr. Silva was having a very difficult time around the date of the accident. It was only a few years before Mr. Silva's brother was killed in the car accident, and it has dramatically impacted Mr. Silva. The LeBerry family believes that Corey would not want to see Mr. Silva imprisoned for what now appears to be a tragic accident. The LeBerry family feels the same way. While they know that what happened was a crime under the California law, they ask your consideration in seeking a minimal sentence, yet just sentence. They believe that Mr. Silva can do more good teaching young people about their actions and consequences that occur from quick actions without much thought. On a personal note, I want to say that in the capacity as a prosecutor for almost 15 years and now a defense attorney for almost 12 years, I've rarely come across a more thoughtful and understanding family. They recognize the difference between a person placing themselves in a situation that is so reckless that a person is killed, and a horrific accident in which circumstances come together resulting in one person accidentally killing their close friend. I'm honored to represent people who look deep into their hearts before seeking vengeance, as the LeBerrys have done in this case. Thank you on the behalf of the LeBerry family in advance for your consideration of their wishes. I believe this letter is a great reflection of Corey's character and how he was raised. It's hard to put into words on how truly grateful I am for the family to send a letter like this in such a difficult time. The fact that they even showed me an ounce of empathy and were able to look past the misinformation instead of seeking vengeance shows how compassionate, understanding they really are. I also want to address the accusations against me that I fled the scene after the crash. Moments after the accident, two of Corey's friends saw me stumbling away from the vehicle, and they claimed that I was running away from the scene. Two homeowners also witnessed the aftermath and said that I was stumbling near the vehicle, but to be completely honest, I have no clear memory of what happened immediately after the accident. All I can say is after I had broke my hip in 3 places, I had 4 broken ribs, I had bleeding and swelling in my brain, and had a severe concussion. I know I'm not the type of person that would leave a friend in a situation like that, and if I was not disorientated, I'd have done everything in my power to help Corey. Lastly, I just want to say thank you to everyone who has shown love and support for Corey and I've had a long time to reflect on myself and my actions. I want to be a positive influence and an advocate for safe driving, and I hope one day I can sit down with Corey's family and tell them how sorry I truly am.